weekend and had the parade, and the downtown looked really good. I thought everything just tip top, neat and clean. Um, the rodeo was fun, well attended. I went on a Friday night this time, but just want to compliment the city personnel. They've been under a lot of pressure, a lot of mowing, a lot of everything. Had some interaction with the water department, and just just lights out, really good. So that's really all I have right now. I'm going to turn to City Administrator Dr. Jeff Brazier.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it is my honor and my privilege to introduce and to acknowledge an excellent employee that we have here for the city of Seymour. Um, she was recommended, of course, by our pool manager, Christian Shelton. And tonight we would like to honor Chase Frost for her outstanding service to the city pool. And actually, as I was filling out her certificate, I recognize that this is the second year in a row that she's been honored by two different managers. So I think that speaks a lot about Chase, who she is and what she represents. Or I did ask Christian, why are you nominating this particular employee? And without hesitation, he just says, she's a team player. She always does what she's asked to do without being asked to do it. She does her job consistently, and and I've also observed Chase, and she's always in her stand. She's where she's supposed to be doing. I can't think of a time where I had to redirect Chase or see her on the camera and, not doing what she's supposed to do. So, just an outstanding young lady, and we're very proud of her and the job that she's doing to keeping our patrons safe all summer long. So, Chase, if you and Mr. Shelton would come forward and in behalf of the mayor and the city council, we'd just like to say thank you and present you with this certificate for your outstanding service.
I'd like to recognize we have law enforcement here tonight. Sheriff White's here, Officer Bryce Sawyer, and Officer Jones. Thank y'all for being here. Good to see you. Oh, Chase Hoyt. He's here. Thank you for coming. Okay, let's see what we have next. We have a presentation, the citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens? Yes, come right on down. If you'll state your name and I think we know you, but
There we go. I'm Darcy White. I'm the Baylor County Sheriff. I wanted to start off by saying in the last under year since I've been here, the Baylor County Sheriff's Office has been supported, and I appreciate the help that we've gotten from the Seymour Police Department because from what I'm hearing, we're a much more cohesive unit than we've ever been in the past between the PD, the Sheriff's Department, the troopers, the game wardens, and the school. So there's that, and I wish those kids hadn't left because on a personal note, I swim most every day, as you guys know, and that pool is clean and sparkling blue, and I really appreciate it. And me and the senior ladies wish you guys would keep it open a few more weeks at lunchtime.
all right, thank you. That's those good remarks. We appreciate it. Okay, no Soho here tonight. It's not Soho. What am I saying? Seymour Helping Hands. Oh, okay. Okay. They're going to present next month. Okay. Let's go to city administrator reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to go ahead and start off with our financials. As y'all know, this week we've had a great duo here serving our community and helping us out through some challenges that we have in our finance department. But we have Mr. Don Jennings is here. Marty Simpson has been here all week, who is amazing as well. But I did ask Don to come and speak to our council and our mayor and just let y'all know exactly what they're doing, what they're seeing, and what we need to do to clean up some of the challenges that we have. And so I appreciate Don being here tonight. He's been staying here all week in a motel and spending some long, hard hours working with the City Hall employees. So, Mr. Don Jennings, you please step forward and have some conversations there with our council.
Welcome. Yeah, you might want to hold that mic. It might be work a little better closer.
There, you got turned off. We appreciate you trusting the TML staff to come in and help. This is the new program that Marty and the TML have just started. And actually, this is probably the third city that I know of that's utilized our services. Marty is the executive director for the Government Finance Officers of Texas. She's been past president. I am past president of the association, and I was with the city of Perryton for just shy of 31 years as their finance director, and I just recently retired. Was happily retired until Marty wrote me and tied his back of a pickup and drew me off. But what our understanding of what we were tasked to do was come in and help catch up the bank reconciliations. They have not been done since September of 21. We thought we could come in here and look at those and we could run through them and be in and be out. But we run into some problems. We were having trouble actually locating some of the bank statements. We got them located. We thought we were hitting the ground running. We were taking off again, and things just weren't. We didn't find what we thought we were going to find. And one of the problems that we found was the credit card income. When the credit card money came in, it was all deposited to the general operating account at the bank, where it was supposed to be divvied out between 5 other funds, between the electricity and the water, sanitation, and so forth. So in the city books, it was being posted where it was supposed to go, but it actually went to the checking account for the general fund. So there was a big discrepancy, and the staff went, and there was also a change in software. About this time, the same time the bank changed, the software changed, started collecting credit cards, and the staff was a little overwhelmed at the time, and they kept getting frustrated. I'll get this next month. I'll get this next month. And it just kept snowballing until, and if you don't stay on top of it, it doesn't matter who's there. If you don't stay on top of it and you get behind, it becomes an impossible task. So we appreciate you trusting us to come take care of that. We have, like I said, he said we worked this last week, and we kept hitting these little snags. I don't think the software was working correctly. So we figured out what the problem is. We've worked with Encode. We have fixed part of it, and we're a lot closer now than we was at noon today. So I'm feeling much, much better about it. Encode is continuing to work. Hopefully they will get some other bugs worked out by Monday, Tuesday next week, and we can hit the ground running again. So we're getting there. It's just we're so far behind. Part of the problem is the software will only let you have 2 years open. So right now, we're in the 23-24 fiscal year. So we can have the 23-24 open, and we can have last year's 22-23. Well, we're working in 3 years back. We can't make any changes, and we can't. So basically what we have to do is we have to try to reconcile, and there's going to be differences because we have to reconcile a whole year versus a month. So we have to figure out what the difference is, and we will present that to the auditors and say, here's how far it's off. You guys as auditors have the final say. You figure out how to fix it. But once they do that, we have to immediately jump on 22-23 because come September 30th, that year's going to be closed and we can't make any corrections or changes. So we're kind of backed up against the wall, and we need to finish this 21-22, then we need to do the 22-23, then we might have a little bit of breathing room. But come September, you got year end, it's time to start thinking about the 23-24. So we're trying to figure out what the snags are. It's kind of like a mechanic. We spent this week diagnosing the problem. Let's figure out all the problems. Let's do our checklist. Let's figure out what's wrong. What's it going to take to fix it? And then let's come back and fix it. So that's kind of where we're at. There's a retirement coming up soon. I don't think it's any too soon to start transitioning the replacement in. Whenever I retired and we knew who my replacement was, 6 months out, I changed offices with her. I said, I'll move in the outside office. You take this office. Here's the task you have to do. I sat with her for a couple of months, and then I just sat in the corner and said, let me know if you have any questions. Because when I walk out that door, I'm out. And she had to be able to figure it out and do the job on her own. So, and right now we're 2 months out. So I don't think it's any too soon to be transitioning that. One of the good things about GFOAT is the training. I think that, like I said, I was in GFOAT for over 30 years. They have 2 conferences a year where they really try and work hard to make that a worthwhile. It's a 3-day conference. You know, what does the finance directors need? And they generally have classes for those new finance directors. You know, they have classes for the bigger cities. They have classes for the smaller cities. Even if there's nothing there that is of particular interest to your finance director, it's still important because they serve 3 meals a day. And at the table you sit down and somebody will inevitably say, you know, I got this jerk that does this, this, and this. You know, what do you guys do about that? That is the important part of this organization, is getting to know people all over the state. I can drive clear across this state and never have to stay in a motel. I've got so many friends from one side to the other. But I've got people I can call, you know, like, God, I'm not sure I understand how to do this tax thing. But I've got people I can call, people I know. And that's the important part, is whenever you get someone in there, train them and help them with their confidence, because there's going to be things they come up with they don't know. And they need to know people. People like me, people like Marty, and others through the state and organization, trying to make her comfortable enough that all she has to do is call. Don't feel guilty about calling. You know, that's what we do. So the training, I think, is real important. But we have run against a couple of snags, like I said. I think we've got most of it figured out. And hopefully by next week, Encode gets the software worked up the way it can. We can hit the ground running again. And we can't, at this point, we cannot balance those. We can just come up with numbers for the auditors. This is what it's going to take you to get to where you need to be to close out this year. Once we give them that numbers and they make their changes, then we hit the ground running and do 22-23. And not looking for a job. So I don't want to come and camp out and do the job, but we are more than willing to help any way we can. If she needs us for 2 days, 3 days, if she needs us she needs a phone call, or she just wants me to log on to her computer and do whatever. I'm in Lubbock, I was in Perryton until 3 weeks ago. That's a little bit longer trip, but being in Lubbock, we can. I mean, if something comes up and she just has to have some assistance, we'll be here. It just takes a phone call.
Let me ask you a quick question. What was the name of that organization, the training, where you get the training and such?
It's the Government Finance Officers Association of Texas. We call it GFOAT, GFOAT. They're about 2,000 strong memberships, and a great organization. It's just, and they try to have regional meetings. They try to have them once a month or every other month in each region. So once she gets in, she can figure out, what region she's in, where's their monthly meetings, and go to it. And they'll have training at these monthly meetings. And if there's something in particular that she needs, if she needs it, somebody else is going to need it. So just let somebody know, I need, work on a budget. I need work on calculating my tax rate. Well, let's get with Marty and see if we can't make that happen at the next conference. It's a fantastic organization, fantastic. I can't praise it enough, but I think that's real important. But the training is important. I think the transition is important. I think having the right staff, you've got a fantastic staff. If you pick the right people to come in and help, it's not an 8 to 5 job if there's one person in that office. They just can't do it. But we've talked about the importance of timeliness. Once we get caught up, work on that bank reconciliation, weekly. So whenever that bank statement comes out at the end, it's done. Because without accurate finances, you don't know what you've got. You don't know, almost afraid to do anything because you really don't know that if you've got the money to. So it's a very important position. And I think you've got some really good people in there.
But I'm just speaking for myself, but I think everybody up here, we're very intent on getting this fixed. And Dr. Brazier, and it's a very just extremely high priority. I appreciate you coming down and talking to us about it. It kind of gives us, we're all kind of on the same page. And if you need anything from Dr. Brazier, or if you need to holler at one of us, give us a holler. But we're intent on getting it fixed. So hopefully in the next short period of time, we can get this thing close to being done.
Well, hopefully we can help you, but we'll be waiting till you make a decision. If you want us down there, we set a date and we'll come down and spend a couple of more days, and we'll do whatever we need to. That's the whole purpose of the program. And, we'll be happy to.
Very good. I appreciate it. Anything else, Dr. Brazier? Questions?
No.
Anybody got questions up here? Sorry, I was going to just, you gave us a lot of good information. And anyway, go ahead, Dr. Brazier.
Well, and I do really appreciate that. They've given us some good insight on how, we can transition to a new business manager. And again, the ultimate goal is not only get this cleaned up, but put in, better, more efficient systems in place so that we don't find ourselves in this position in the future. And we leave a good track, so to speak, for future leadership. And that way, hopefully the city will stay in good standing for many, many decades to come. So,
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
just a couple of bits of information from the city administrator reports. Again, we're still in need of someone to work in the street department. So we've not found anyone to fill that quite yet. We still have a position open in the water department as well. So we just posted that just a few days ago. Also, there are some important dates. I just want y'all to be cognizant of that are coming up. Our golf camp is coming up, not this coming week, but the next week. And so we can use all the help that we could get for that. That's going to be July 23rd, 24th, 25th, from 8:30 to 11:30. And on that last day, Waste Connections is going to do a hamburger hot dog feed for the kids. Then we're going to let them swim. So, we always appreciate the support of the council, the mayor. If y'all could be there, it'd be great. We'll have awards assembly on that last day as well. The city swimming pool will close on August 4th at 5:00 p.m. for the summer. And I think those are the primary events that we have coming up. Also in your package is the police report. And then the last thing that I have is appreciate the council weighing in on what y'all believe are our budgeting priorities for the next fiscal year. I sent that to y'all. Does everybody have a paper copy of that or not? So based on what y'all gave me, I tried to put that together, and y'all all gave that a number, and then come up with what y'all feel are some of our highest priorities to our lowest priorities. And so every council member has spoken, except for one was not able to give you that information. But in any case, I thought it was important that y'all look at this when we start plugging in our numbers into our budget, making sure that our budget reflects the priorities of our council and our mayor. So as y'all look through that, if y'all want to discuss that, any questions or concerns, or if y'all want to maybe add something or whatever, this would be a good time to do that, because we really need to get these numbers plugged in.
I'll just mention that I think community wise, I mean, I just always running into people talking about the old houses and stuff. Most people are not, they're just like the chemical feed and the RO plant and all that. That's not visible. So it's not a high priority in the community, because it's just, it's not something you see, but it is a very high priority, because if you don't have water, you have nothing. So like I say, you could move some of these around, up 2 or 3 places, down 2 or 3 places, and I'd probably still be okay with everything. But I think we do need to make, we did that last, or I guess two meetings ago, in terms of trying to come at these dilapidated properties a couple of different ways. And, with our budgeting and stuff coming up, I think we need to allot some, enough money to where we could do, a bunch of small houses or a few big houses, but we need to stay on that. Anybody else want to comment or give an?
I do want to add one thing, just to make sure y'all know. I got a call yesterday from TxDOT, and so we've been talking about this phase 3 of the airport. And so they've got a new director or a new planning design guy or whatever, and he doesn't seem to be quite as friendly as the past one. But in any case, he said he was looking at our project, and he projected it's going to be about $2.6 million, which our portion is going to be at $260,000. So that's about a 60% increase to what we anticipated. But then he did tell me in 2026 that he didn't think the money was even going to be there. So we might be looking until 2028 and want to know that we have the cash. And I'm like, well, you're throwing a lot at me in a moment. I got to talk to my council. I got to talk to my airport board. I mean, there's a lot of work that I have to do, move forward. So in any case, it wasn't just real glowing positive news. So I did ask them, could they break that up, because of the cost. And, we don't have enough time to generate that kind of cash. Even until 2028, I mean, we'd be falling short. So anyway, there's a lot of discussions. I've talked to our board director, Mr. Moline, and he and I are going to meet early next week and try to get our airport board meeting together. And so we'll come up with some plans and try to do some more, but we're going to continue to put what we can in the airport fund and try to build that up as well. So anyway, kind of run into some obstacles there, but I just wanted y'all to be aware of that.
Is that phase 3? Is that on the taxiway, or what's that on?
Well, it was, first of all, to do a seal coat on the new runway, because that if If we don't, it will oxidize, and they see it'll start cracking and falling apart, you know. So I don't know when the optimal time or, you know, or the window for that is. That's one portion of it, but the rest of it is the approaches, yeah, in the taxiway, yeah, leading up to the runway.
Just can we do that? Does it have to all be done at one time? I mean, can you?
No, I think it can be broken up, but
Yeah.
he acted like he didn't know the answer to that either. So,
You know, it's like eating an elephant. You just got to eat it one bite at a time. You know, you can't
Exactly.
eat a
Yeah.
whole elephant.
but he
you know.
said he would check in on that, and we're supposed to talk again in the next week or two and see where we are. And so,
All right, so you'll meet with the airport board and those folks and see if you can figure out with the Tex dot what.
right, based on what
Good way to go.
information they give
Okay.
me as well.
All right. Where are we at now, Jeff?
Well, just making sure y'all don't have any questions, concerns, and if y'all are good with kind of this priority list, then next week we'll start plugging all this in, and you know we'll start with the top, and depends on how much money we have. You know, we'll get as much done as we can. Last year, I think we was able to do everything that was requested by the supervisors, and that y'all saw as a priority. At least we put it in a budget. I can't tell you that every single project has been completed, but at least the money was put there as requested by our supervisors. So,
And we were okay last year. Everything, is that what you're saying? We were able to?
well, I say last year, this particular budget that we're working on now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And all that depends then on our revenues and how they generate. And, you know, we have enough money to spend to complete these projects. So,
All right. If there are no more questions on that at this point, and we can talk to you, Jeff, if we've got an individual question.
absolutely.
About
Or you call a
something, or call.
supervisor, you know,
Okay.
they'd be glad to
All right,
answer that as well.
Perfect.
And that's all I have on mine.
Okay. Okay, I think we're down to public hearings. Conduct a public hearing for ordinance 2024-06 pole purchase agreement pertaining to yard light contracts. And I think kind of the deal behind that, Dr. Brazier, if you agree, is that we were basically doing that for free, setting poles for a pole light and all that stuff. So there's a charge associated with that now.
Yes, we just tried to really not make a profit, but just trying to get
Not
back
go in the hole.
Not go in the hole, yeah.
Okay. When we did, so this is, okay. This is the second. Only one on this, okay. All right, let's go down to number 2. Conduct a public hearing for ordinance 2024-07, 19th hole reservations at the Salt Fork Recreational Complex. And we've come up with some rates on that. Lauren, would you like to comment on that?
If you'll notice, those are going to be on page 46 of your packet. We looked at these last month and moved forward based off the conversations that we had last meeting. However, the mayor and the administrator and I looked at the 19th hole that we had discussed price-wise, and the fee structure was odd. We had agreed to $50 an hour with a 3-hour minimum, or $150 for 12 hours, which is kind of redundant and didn't make a lot of sense. So we did make a suggested change on that to do $50 for the first hour and $25 for every additional hour, and then $150 for the day. And that just made more sense option-wise. So we did make that change from the last discussion. I will say too that these items are in your consent agenda. So any discussion we could have here, but they're in your, once you pull them out, you'll just take them for what they are, because we had discussed this once before. So
Okay.
any direction, whatever.
We're kind of guessing. We don't know if there'll be demand for that or not. You know, there might be, you know, but if there is, we got a plan, I guess. What about the folks at the golf course? Does that seem reasonable to y'all to do that, to make it available?
Well, I did speak with Nita about this yesterday, and her concern was that we had some weddings booked in the fall, And so we talked about like logistically, the audio equipment is in the 19th hole. So that will need to be moved into the banquet area. And we'll need to get with Todd to find out if we have key locks and et cetera for things like that, because that 19th hole is not included in the banquet hall rental. And so it'll need to be closed off.
Okay.
So it'll mainly be logistic things.
Gotcha. Keeping doors locked that need to be locked and doors open that need to be open and accessible. Okay.
Well, those doors have got key lock.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
they're already
They're
locked.
already
and
locked.
don't- To get from there, you can go out and go to the bathrooms and then back into the 19th hole. And to the kitchen.
When you rent the banquet hall, you have access to those bathrooms and that back door. So we just have to make sure that we don't want to give access to someone who's not been granted access, and then something happened that's not supposed to happen. It's kind of our bad because we didn't prevent the access. So we just want to make sure that we have all of those avenues covered.
All right. Let's go to number 3, conduct a public hearing for ordinance 2024-08, water and sewer tap fees pertaining to construction and tampering. That's page 48, starts on 48. And this was another thing that I think in conjunction with the water department and everything, these fees haven't probably been increased in who knows, 20 years, 25 years.
And there was a suggestion from Chase, and these are the same numbers that we presented to you last month.
Yes, gotcha. So we can act on this tonight, right? All of it, okay. Chase, would you like to say something? No? Don't blame you. Okay. All right, consent agenda. I think we've all read through that, and Lauren gave us some information. The 19th hole's in there. So approval. Do we need to go down here and read all these, or can we just, it's all under consent agenda? Gotcha. Okay. All right, we're down to,
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
okay.
I
We
second.
we have a motion and a second. You got that,
I
Lauren?
second.
Thank you, Debbie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. It's by 4-0. Okay. Number 9, action items. I guess that's Resolution 1571 to designate the official meeting place of the City Council to be the Whiteside Center for the Performing Arts, also known as City Hall Auditorium, located at 301 North Washington. I personally like it here. I think it's, whatever. What do y'all think?
I like it, but it's hot. It's hot up here.
Maybe get a fan up here next time.
Get some
Couple of
fans.
fans.
It's all that heat and pressure, man, from.
Yeah. Are you hot, man? The man said he's fine. He's a little.
We can turn down the air. It's only
I'm
on
sweating.
75s.
These hot lights up here maybe have something to do with. We can see a lot better. I mean, don't feel like I'm going blind.
We'll put a fan up there next time. It'll-
Perfect. That just move a little air. Okay.
Debbie said I'm having hot flashes.
Well, we don't want to go there, but, okay, do we have a motion on this particular number 9, resolution 1571?
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve 1571.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Have a second from Councilman Nguyen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. It passes 4-0. Discuss, consider, and take action to purchase a work vehicle for the City of Seymour Water Department. And are we going to keep, or do we want Chase to come up, or do we want to wait on this, or what do we want to do?
No, I think this will be a good time for us to discuss, and
Yeah.
and there are some opportunities for y'all to take action if you would like. But
Okay.
Chase has brought to our attention, and I would have to agree that they are in need of some updated vehicles. And I think I sent y'all's packet. If not, I got an inventory list of the vehicles that the water department currently has. And if you'll look, the newest vehicle that they have, they got a brand new spanking 2008 GMC with well over 100,000 miles on it. So, I think it is important that our departments, how quality functioning, vehicles they can depend on. And, it is important that we, from time to time, upgrade those vehicles. When they have an emergency, they know they can start it up and it will go. So anyway, so Chase has done a lot of work, and he's looked, as y'all told me last time, to bring y'all kind of a smorgasbord of options. And so we've done that for y'all as well. I asked him to prioritize what he would like, and I think he put on there what his number one choice was, and then 2, 3, and I think I'd put 1 or 2 in there as well. But we did, again, kind of run into a little hiccup because I told y'all that in the vehicle fund for the water department, we have $43,904. And then we have $24,763 in ARPA money left. And that's all of the ARPA money if y'all spend that, which brings that total up to $68,667. The vehicle that he wants was $99,190. And if you notice, of course, it has, it's nothing fancy, but it does have a crane and some essential equipment and tools that they need to do their job. And no one knows better than Chase on what those needs are. But we did have $30,523 in the water budget funds that we feel like that we could spend. So when I'd ask our business manager, I want to make sure that I have an updated financials. Our friends from TML told us that it would be in our best interest to wait until they do some more reconciliation so that we have a better, more accurate a picture of what our financials are right now. So I thought that was a wise decision. So, I think the options are, obviously y'all don't have to do anything you don't want to do, is if y'all buy one of the cheaper, older,
Used.
vehicles. Thank you. You could do that probably, because I feel comfortable spending the $68,667. But anything over that, I would recommend that if y'all are going to consider that, then we can bring this back to y'all next month. Hopefully we'll say, hey, we got the money. I feel comfortable spending that if y'all choose to do it. So,
Well, if we went, say, on the new vehicle is going to have a warranty and all that stuff, which I'll go back to the truck for just a minute. I didn't realize, and I think maybe it's in the notes that you gave us, that when we need to pull something like a pump or something, that sometimes we have to wait on, say, Robertson Electric or something, because we don't have anything big enough to pull it. Is that right? Am I right on that?
well, that is accurate. I asked Chase to be here because he can ask those questions or answer those questions better than me, because he does this every single day.
Okay.
But that does cost us money. Robertson
Well,
are great
and
friends, but it
time,
costs money, and it costs them time and money for them to wait. But Chase, give him,
Yeah.
I guess, a good
Chase,
picture
tell
of
us
what-
who you are, and then let me ask you a quick question.
I'm Chase.
Okay, Chase, supervisor of the water. Thank you.
Hi,
He's
Chase.
kind of like, Elvis, somebody, just one name, Chase. You're pretty famous to me sometimes when you really need somebody. But no, I didn't realize that we don't have a what am I trying to say? A crane, not a
Well,
crane.
We do have a crane. It's on the wastewater truck.
Yes.
And Greg, drives, but we've worked on that thing a million times. We've had people look at it. Every now and then it'll catch on us and pumps in the hole, or, it's halfway up or halfway down or something, and we get kind of stuck. And of course it's on a Friday at 5, it's never in the morning or something when something like this is happening. And it's normally we're pushing it when we're pulling pretty much any pump, what that crane can do. And it's just every time we use it, we're working on it. So it's just kind of rough, trying to replace a pump or something like that in the middle of the night or whatever. And we're also working on the crane while we're trying to pull out a pump, or sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But some of these trucks that we're looking at, they're it's unbelievable how much these are. What we're trying to do is trying to get something that we can haul any of our trailers, something that we can pull pumps with, something we can even go to Wichita if we need to. Really, we had to borrow a car or something to go to Wichita to go pick up something, where I'll just take my truck. It's just kind of, knock something else out when I'm there. But it's it's kind of scary not having something we can just go to Wichita in. And then the other night we had that leak on top of McLean. I'm sure y'all saw the huge hole up there. I was taking the mini excavator up the hill, and my truck that I drive barely made it up the hill with that mini on the back. That shouldn't be a problem, but it was. So that's never fun when it's about 8 o'clock at night. But yeah, so I'm just trying to, instead of buying 1 or 2 trucks, I'm trying to just buy 1 truck that we can do anything with.
Is there a truck or a couple of trucks that could go to another department, or could you convert them to some other use in your department? Or probably, can you get anything for them?
Yeah, we've got a GMC that we're not using really very much right now. It just kind of depends on how many guys are in the department at one time. But we've got a GMC that was totaled. I think it was totaled like 10 years ago, but I guess it's good now. But that's one that we could send to streets or electric if they need it. Obviously, they have mentioned before that they wouldn't mind it, but that's pretty much the only truck that we'd be willing to move away. I mean, we still got the F-350. It's got 230,000 miles on it, and it's fine normally. But if that's down, we really can't pull around our back trailer. I mean, I don't think any of our vehicles could handle that when it's full of mud and water. It's a heavy
What's it
trailer.
weigh? Full.
Yeah.
What's it weigh?
Full with, I mean, it's an 800-gallon tank. So
800. We thought it was 5.
I mean, that's not
So
even
that's
counting
16. That's 16,000 with just water.
Yeah, just water. But we've also got a 300-gallon water tank on there too. So if that's full and that's full with water and mud, I mean, it's heavy. It'll push you. So
Do we not have brakes on that trailer?
we've got brakes, but we can talk about that later. But we don't really ever go anywhere crazy with it. We stay in town. But we got Daniel Huschkamp. He's going to come look at our setup because it's kind of finicky sometimes. Or if you connect it, it'll engage the brakes just randomly. So
That back trailer.
Oh, okay.
we got a bad ground on it or something. But anyway, yeah. It'd be nice if we could, I mean, if the cat ever goes down, we could maybe haul it to Wichita. We don't really have anything that we can do that with right now. I can't imagine how much it'd cost for them to come pick it up.
Well, that's good information. I appreciate that. Like I say,
What size is that crane? I can't find it on the info.
The truck I sent you,
Yeah, well, the
or whatever,
2024, the
I think
Ford.
all the ones I've looked at are 3,500 max. Yes, sir. I think all the ones I've looked at, I don't think anything's been less than 3,000. But I don't think we would ever pull anything over 2,500. I mean, I don't know what a casing string, if we were pulling a well pump with a pipe on it, that would be pretty heavy. I don't know what that would be a Lloyd question probably, but that would be nice if we could pull one of those too. I mean, but honestly, I'd probably rather than be there anyway if I'm pulling a well pump. But
I mean, I don't want to talk about negative things, but I hadn't thought about, having to wait on an outside contractor to come and
yeah,
with what they've got to pull something. Is that like, say, at a lift station or something like that? If a
lift
pump
station is almost 98% of the time we're pulling a pump is a lift station.
Okay.
And it's not like we're waiting long. I mean, Landon showed up during a rainstorm one time. I mean, they'll show up. It's just, what if they're out of town,
And there's a cost associated with it too.
Yeah. And
They're not doing it for nothing, and they shouldn't,
for sure. They're always helpful. But
Which one of these you said you could get rid of, Chase, on this pickup?
33, I believe. 2,500,
Yeah, 2002.
150,000 miles, I think, on that one.
Is that the only one you can get rid of?
I mean, we can look at, I mean, I haven't really thought much into that, but that's something we could talk about. And the 31 right now is actually the RO department's truck. We've just been using it.
Whose truck is it?
RO.
Oh, okay.
We've just been using it because he doesn't really need it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Jeff and I was talking today, and the reason I was asking about two is doing whatever you wanted pretty much to do with one of them, and then the other one is maybe selling it and getting John, the RO, like a little single cab pickup like the electrical department's got, so he doesn't have to drive his own personal vehicle.
correct. Yeah.
So that's why I was asking if you could get rid of two of them, is maybe, sell one of them, put a little bit towards this one, and then sell the other one, and, get him something since he doesn't have his own pickup.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But he's back and forth there a lot. It'd be helpful to him to have something to go. I don't know.
He's
Could-
got tests he runs in town that
Let
runs
me
tests
ask
a week.
Dr. Brazier a quick question. If we approve this, could we approve it subject to the finances getting a confirmation that we're good on the money and it's available, and we've been prudent in terms of, in other words, not actually doing it until we get an okay from finance?
Y'all could, and give us a ceiling, say we're only going to approve X
Right.
amount,
Right.
including the ARPA money and the vehicle fund.
Gotcha.
Or y'all could just wait till next month, when it's going to take some time for us to
Get through
get through the reconciliations as
Okay.
well. But yeah, we can do whatever y'all want.
okay.
By the way, we're also looking into maybe trying to, I mean, I'm not too inclined on this, but, mixing and matching, buying a truck without the bed and then buying a bed, putting that all on. But I know something ain't going to fit, it's just, and that's why I've been trying to stay away from it. But I mean, when you're looking at how much these new trucks are, it's crazy. And then a used truck with 80,000 miles on it, it's still 80 grand. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know what they've done to this truck. I don't know what they've done to this crane, but,
Well,
at
at
least we
least-
would have a warranty,
At least with this one, you'll have a warranty on it.
Yeah.
And I can nearly guarantee you that if you buy a cabin chassis and then turn around and buy the bed and put it all together yourself, you're not saving any money. Just
Or
get it
or
all
headache.
done at once.
Yeah.
That way
I
the
do know
company-
a welder, but
The company that's putting this together does this for a living. Let them do it and be
I know.
finished with it.
Yep.
And
I've talked to a few of them and that's what they do. I mean, these guys have been doing it 20 years and, but some of these guys, they'll put a, 5,000 pound crane on, on a single, instead of a dually. And I'm like, so, some of those guys I'm staying away from. Obviously that's,
have
You know.
you talked to these people and found out if that's their bottom dollar?
yes, me and Jeff sort of had a conversation, email with one of these guys and he didn't seem like he wanted to budge, but obviously we're going to try to
He
negotiate as much as we can.
didn't seem like it, but he
Yeah.
could be persuaded.
For sure. I mean,
Well, I
Jeff
did
can't
try.
figure it out.
I had several conversations with even another company, and I tried to get them to go down 10 grand. And he goes, "Well, if I do, can I call you a customer?" And I said, "Well, I can't speak for the council, but I think there's a high probability."
Well, that
And-
sounds like a yes to me. I didn't.
Well,
see
he
that.
called me about 2 days later and says, "Nope, can't do it." So anyway, that was
Yeah,
the end of
it-
that
I think it's a
conversation.
lot different if you got cash in your hand.
Exactly. Exactly.
Obviously, we need to do bids and stuff. I don't want to spend all that money. It's ridiculous, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look out for the guys and having something
Chase,
to
that's
be proud
good.
of. Yeah.
Good information. And like I say, I can't imagine, like I say, do y'all want to wait till next month? Do you want to approve it subject to the financing getting the okay, or what do you want to do? Wait till next month. Okay. All right. Chase, thank you. I think, do we have to act on this or what?
Y'all can table it or act on it, but
Yeah, I think we want to defer it to next month. And,
I need to be making a motion.
yeah, yes. Let me get to the right place here. Number 10 on action items, discuss, consider, take action to purchase a work vehicle for City Seymour Water Department. Do we have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion that we table this for further information on our finances till next month.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Gillespie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Thank you. 4-0. Number 11, discuss, consider, and take action on the enforcement of cities ordinance 10.215 golf carts and utility vehicles. And I think we got some, we got some information on that if I can get to the right page, which is 88. Okay. I think what the main thing, I'm just, again, speaking for myself, but I've had people contact, or I got a phone call from a guy one time. It seemed like it was Saturday afternoon. And it wasn't a golf cart, but it was some kind of little, Bryce will probably know the guy I'm talking about. But anyway, he was, some guy nearly ran over him, near the grain elevators, and it shook him up. And he somehow, he called the city and got my, and I called him and visited with him. It wasn't on a Saturday during the week, but anyway, he was very concerned. He'd seen this guy around town. So anyway, we got golf carts going around and that kind of thing too. And so anyway, we just are looking at the ordinance. Did we want to make some changes in it? Do we want to make it less important? Do we want to make it more important? I did a little just unscientific research on this, and I read about accounts of accidents on ATVs and golf carts, and and it's usually horrible and usually involves kids. But one of the statistics I ran across said that more than half of golf cart accidents involve children 12 years old or younger. And I think in 2023 there were 6,500 accidents involving children 12 years old and under. These are just random statistics. I just jotted these down. 67% of off-highway vehicle deaths occurred on roads, not off-road. 15,000 golf cart injuries annually. ATVs, 7,000 injuries, and 135,000 injuries per year and 700 deaths a year. So, it's a concern, and I'm just bringing it up to get ideas, and if any of the officers want to weigh in, you're welcome to weigh in too, if you'd like, or any of the council members. I'd be curious on how you feel. Do you want strict enforcement, and we're not trying to tell you what to do, strictly like that, but I do get comments from some citizens about not adults, but kids, and the safety aspect of it is where I'm coming from. I just don't, it's all fun and games till somebody gets hurt, and then we're in the mess. So,
And I'll just bring up too, I think it's important that we support our police officers.
100%.
I know that we heard, voices from both sides. And I think what we're talking primarily here is young boys and girls that don't have a driver's license. And I think that's where all the concerns are. And I know that if you have a driver's license and you can drive a golf cart, and there's certain vehicles, and I think I've sent y'all a in-depth list of all the different vehicles and all the rules and regulations that's put out there by the DPS. But it's important, I think, that our police officers have clear direction from our council on something that can be really political, because we know that some parents support their kids driving, and there's some kids that are very good drivers. And, I know I've nearly hit a couple of underage drivers too that pulled out in front of me as well. And the last thing that any of us want to do is hurt someone. And so it really puts our officers, I think, in a predicament. That's like dang if they do and dang if they don't. So they need to know what is it you expect of them, and that way, they can, I think it just provides them with support, and they feel more comfortable in what decisions they make.
That's well said. Well said. So anyway, any comments from the council, or anybody want to weigh in on this?
My issue is that the little kids, I'm scared one of them's going to get hurt, or someone's going to get hurt. They drive on, I've seen them drive by our office, and not only on golf carts. There's usually more than one or two. I've had people tell me that they seen them driving around town and they were switching drivers and didn't even stop. And I've seen them on the little four-wheelers driving. They came down Plainview Road the other day. I don't know if they went over by Plainview. You've seen them? They're on the little mini four-wheelers. And there were two kids on one of them, and I think there was one on another one. And it's just, they don't pay attention. I don't think, I mean, if you're gonna let them drive golf carts, you might as well let them drive cars. I mean, it's stupid, but it's just a safety issue. I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm coming from is, you know, and there are probably some kids more responsible than others, but like you say, it's not like our officers don't have a lot of other things to do. You know? But that it, I'm just kind of repeating what I'm feeling from some members of the community. And it's like, you know, honestly, I like seeing people on golf carts, you know, like parents driving around with their kids in the back or you know, just getting out in the evening and driving around. I like that. But it's mainly like Debbie was talking about. It's the kid aspect to it. And I just don't want anybody to get hurt. You know,
There was also a gentleman that was riding with a baby in his lap.
Okay.
I saw over by Plainview. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I've seen that firsthand too.
Okay. Well, I've missed that one, but anyway, I'd be interested if y'all want to say anything, or you don't have to, but
And I do appreciate y'all. Y'all
yeah,
do.
we do. It's not anything.
I know, I think we're probably going to talk about that in executive session, so I won't go too far into detail. One of the main things I'd like to say for sure, though, is a lot of this is a parenting issue. Your parents should tell these kids they don't need to be riding their golf carts. I mean, you're responsible for your children, make sure they're safe. You shouldn't allow your kids to take off across town in a golf cart when they don't have a license to drive. That's a parenting issue. And secondly, if we're going to go for it and enforce it, I'm fine with that. It needs to be enforced, but it needs to be enforced strictly for everybody. And that means every rule on there, on that ordinance. That includes these UTVs people have. That ordinance strictly says if they go faster than 20 miles an hour, I believe, you can't drive them. I don't know any UTV doesn't go faster than 20 miles an hour. Most people don't have insurance on it. It says you got to have insurance on it. So, I mean, it's a very strict ordinance, and I'm fine with enforcing it. It needs to be enforced. I don't want to see anybody get hurt either. But it definitely needs to be an all or nothing type situation, not, hey, so-and-so over here can do it, but we can't, because that's where the problem is going to come for everybody.
Are there any corrections or alterations that you would suggest on this?
I definitely think we need a better definition of what a UTV is. Most people don't know. You know, I think that's one thing we can do, and maybe you need to adjust some of that, because a licensed person driving a UTV should be okay. Like, if you could drive a car that goes 100 miles an hour, you probably should be able to drive your little Gator down the road that does 45. Like, let's be realistic about it. But according to the way our ordinance is written now, you can't. It's illegal. So, I mean, there's some things that definitely could be done better on it. But I think a lot of it comes back to a parenting issue too. The parents need to take some responsibility for their kids. It's not the city's responsibility to make sure these kids aren't driving these golf carts. These parents should take responsibility for their children.
Let me give you a scenario. Let's say you see a couple of kids coming down the road and the driver's 14 years old. Technically, you could write the parent a ticket, right?
Yes. You can be issued a citation for allowing an unlicensed driver to operate a motor vehicle.
Yeah.
And I will say, my guys, they do a great job. If we see somebody being dangerous or we see a golf cart with 12 kids on it, we do tell them to go home. We make sure they go put it up. I see other kids who use it to go to the school and go to a workout in the mornings and stuff. And it's a tough situation. Like, what do you do? Where do or you don't do it? Like, they got learner's permits, but technically by ordinance, they're not allowed to drive, but with their parents, they can drive a car. I mean, it's a very finicky, slippery slope, and we're fine with enforcing it. I don't want you to get the impression we're scared to enforce it. I just know it's going to come with a lot of backlash to everybody, and I just think we need to be prepared for that in the end.
All right. Thank you, Bryce. Sheriff White.
I'd like to weigh in on this because it's been brought to me too. because the ordinance is kind of ambiguous and we don't have a mechanism to enforce it because of the fact that it's a city ordinance and we go through JP court. But when I see go-karts, mini bikes, four-wheelers that you ride on, not a UTV, and a whole host of other things, then something has to be done because somebody's going to get squished. And I mean, I know you're worried about that, but you know, it's like, and you guys have to support them if they start sending kids home that are on all these vehicles, because, you know, it's not just a parenting issue, it's a public safety issue, but they have to be able to be supported by you guys saying, golf carts are okay if you're 16, but all these other things are not. And depending on who you are, you might get away with it. I mean, I've sent kids home because I'm like, here's my card if your parents want to talk to me, but you can't drive this on the street because if I can't see you over my hood, I can run you over. So, I mean, you know, and the state law for UTVs is pretty confusing if you start reading through it about crossing highways that are, you can't go any more than, that are more than 30 miles an hour or less than 30 miles an hour. Well, California becomes a 55 and then a 75. So technically you can't cross that. Maine becomes a 55 and then a 75. So you technically can't cross that. So you're going to be stuck in your parts of the town. So, I mean, you guys are going to probably have to do some real digging into that ordinance.
I have
think
a
that-
question for you. So, because I don't know the answer. If it's a state maintained highway, even though it goes through our city limits, is it regulated by city ordinance or state ordinance? And as a moving violation, I'm assuming it's state, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then if you had, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. If you had a golf cart, regardless of age, I suppose, driving on Main Street,
Mhm.
then
They could
that's
be-
a violation
they
that could be,
They could be cited under state statute.
which would
yes.
be, you
The
could do
state law,
that,
Correct.
and this, or DPS
Right.
could do that, or we
Right.
could do that because of
Correct.
the type of road it is. Okay.
Right, and because of the jurisdiction. But
Okay.
it's, you know, the neighborhood where they ride around, you know, on Ryman and Donald and
Mhm.
Miller and all that, but they're blowing stop signs and they're
Yeah.
causing a danger, then that's where the ordinance could kick in. We don't have that ability to enforce that. I mean, we don't want that. We have enough things to do, but we do want to make sure people stay safe.
But the state does have a law, a motor vehicle law about underage golf carts on main
I
highways.
don't know specifically because there's a big confusing thing in the traffic code about what is a UTV and
Uh-huh.
what is, but like Bryce said, what they are required. They are required
Right.
insurance, they're required headlights, they're required brake lights, they're required the slow moving triangle, they're required a mirror. I guarantee you none of those have it.
And we have a short list. So on page 89, there's a short list of all those requirements according to DMV DPS. I kind of remember when they passed this in 2016. I had been here for like a year and a half, but it mainly was, we had a gentleman that was blind that drove by hearing his golf cart all over town. And we were very concerned that he would either cause an accident or be hurt. And so we were trying to get him to stop doing that. And so that's why this initially was passed. So the thought process on it was, and we cite Texas Transportation Code section 502401. I've never read it, so I can't tell you what it
It's pretty
says.
long, isn't it, Bryce? It's pretty long.
Sure.
And then we just need to get on the same page and say, yeah, we're gonna keep this here, it's a great thing for our community, but we're gonna take a hard stand on this. And regardless, you're gonna be stopped for this, and we're gonna put a stop to it.
But-
It does not meet these exact
Criteria.
Right.
And,
Would
and
you-
I'm just going to be from the outside. Where I came from in Minnesota, we had a lake and 2 big golf courses in our city. And you know what they did? They made it so you came to City Hall and you bought a $15 sticker every year, and it was the color coded for that year, and you had to prove up insurance and who was going to be driving it. And you know what? If they didn't have them, we could stop them and send them home and ride them under the city ordinance. And it really made people a lot more accountable for their golf carts.
It's almost like a beach pass.
So it didn't matter the age of the driver
Had
as
to be
long as
16.
the,
Had to be 16.
had to be 16.
Still had to be 16, a licensed driver.
Okay.
So Bryce, would you be willing to tweak this?
Well, and we have all this at cheat sheet. We could add all of that in there so that it covers everything. Like, because we have the dude on the dune buggy guy and the little electric motorcycle guy. My thing is, we've written, Bryce has stopped that guy 1,000 times and told him, you can't drive the dune buggy.
Yeah.
Give him a ticket. He doesn't have a driver's license. It doesn't do him any good. There's misdemeanors piled up in municipal court. Nobody will take him at jail. So we can't enforce it. Sorry. Well, we can't do anything about it. So how do we stop it from happening? Because that little cage is like this tall off the ground. How do you stop someone from driving? Well, my question is, can you impound it? Can we stop them from driving it? Do you have to tow it? So we would still have to impound it on a lot, which stinks.
I've
But-
almost hit that dude like numerous times. Yeah, he come blaring behind the chicken place, and I was at the dumpster throwing my lunch stuff out, and I started moving, and he swung out in front of me. And if he hadn't have done that, I would have hit him.
So is this ordinance capable of holding, I guess you put penalty, I mean, you can write that in there as what the penalty would be.
That I don't know because for Class C offenses, it's very defined by the state. But I mean, we could do some research. I don't
Okay.
want to give you the wrong answer.
Right.
Not know for certain, but we can find out.
Are we gonna make golf carts and UTVs the same law?
I wouldn't make, they're all in the same ordinance now. I wouldn't call them the same things. There's a definitive difference in a golf cart and UTV. But I think we should better define the difference more of a UTV and ATV. Like there's a difference in a Gator and a Ranger versus a Razor. You know what I mean? Like, or Can-Am, you know what I mean? Like, some are designed for speed and racing and having fun. The other ones are designed for work on a farm. UTV is designed for work on a farm. What's a utility vehicle? An all-terrain vehicle can be more your razors, dirt bikes, four-wheelers, which aren't allowed if you tell them to go home. Now, there's a couple of razors and stuff like that they're not doing anything wrong. They're just driving around. They just have a different brand than a John Deere. So that's where I think we need to figure out how we want to define it. And right now, according to your ordinance, anything over 25 miles an hour is illegal. Well, I mean, there's not very many golf carts going 25 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Or like ultra golf carts. So if you alter the height of your golf cart, it's technically illegal by ordinance standards. So that's really the big problem is it's hard to enforce because there's so much things that aren't accurate.
Yeah.
If that
Well-
makes sense.
Well, my golf cart will probably run between 25 and 30.
Mine's an electric golf cart, it's like a 7.5 with regular batteries on it. It'll run every bit as 20.
Yeah.
Mine's got a chip in it. It runs 36.
You got two Beams running 22 miles an hour, so I mean, you gotta.
But
Well, the reason I was asking is because I've got a Yamaha Viking UTV 6-seater, and I go north of town and go run my dog out there on them farm market roads. And I go down the farm market road, but then I hit dirt roads, and I run my dog because he wants to bark all night long. So I go running. So I've got everything except the triangle. So, but I'm still illegal regardless.
Well, depending on county roads, this doesn't apply to county roads, so you may be completely illegal anyway if it's a county road. That's the other thing. Like, I don't know what the county road laws are.
Right.
Now, if you're a farmer and you're working next to your farm and stuff, there's all kinds of state laws that allow you to do that.
So I need to throw a bale of hay in the back of it.
Well, the one thing that I think you mentioned was and I'm not saying it's different that we should just but y'all have a license. These kids don't.
I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah,
The kids,
that's
the
it.
people without a license.
Can until we get this, assuming we're gonna tweak the utility part of it more than what I'm looking at on the golf cart thing doesn't seem too unreasonable the way it's set up. Can you, like say, and I think you're doing it now, when you see them out, stop them and say, go home. And, I'm not saying write everybody up, but you can send them home. And if you see them out again, then you can, or y'all do it the way you want to, but, anyway, let's move on from this. If, like I say, the golf cart part of it looks so, I don't see a problem with the ordinance there. The utility part, that's a way more complicated deal. If we could simplify that, that would be good. All right.
So y'all going to take action on that? And if so, what is it, what direction y'all going to give Officer or Sergeant Sawyer on how to handle underage drivers that are driving golf carts
Okay.
or other
My-
motorized vehicles?
My suggestion would be enforce the golf cart ordinance as is, and the utility thing.
Do we have
Well,
to
it's
change?
gonna have to be reworded, so we're
Yeah.
gonna have to either make a motion to rewrite the whole ordinance and then bring it back. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we cannot do anything with this ordinance, are we?
Continue, is there an option to just table it until we figure out how to better word it? I mean, we can easily tell the officer, if you see a public safety issue, address it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if you
Absolutely.
say,
That kind of keeps y'all and us from
Yeah.
taking that issue.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
but it's, we're not removing it. In other
No,
words,
no,
we're saying
no, I'm
it's-
not saying
we
removing, I'm
can't.
saying we're
It's still
gonna,
there.
we're
Yeah.
gonna make a new ordinance.
Yeah.
But if we table it, can we fix it? Oh, okay, then I'll make a motion, we table it and let's modify the ordinance with Bryce and they come up with the suggestions and bring it back.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Then y'all need to discuss then the motion. And then again, I want to make sure that Bryce is comfortable, I guess,
Yeah.
with the council's expectations on, I guess,
We-
how you're going to deal with underage golf cart and utility drivers. And you feel
Yes,
good about
you're,
that? Okay.
you're going to continue to do that, right? Okay. All right. So that's going to be enforced. So there, what I'm concerned about is just nothing happens, and you've indicated that you're addressing that already. You're sending kids home and that kind of thing. So, I guess that would be our direction. Enforce that part of it. And then we're in the and then we will table it until we can come up with a more defined ordinance, mainly towards the UV, utility vehicle part of it. Does that sound okay to everybody? Because like I say, we don't want to leave ourselves just with zero enforcement, and then that's even worse.
All right, well,
Anyway.
then let's have Lauren read back the motion, just make sure that we're clear on what. Well,
You're-
not even serious?
I mean, are we clear on what the one?
Yes.
But continue
It-
to
Yes,
go by this, by law,
yes,
until we figure out a plan.
yes. But again, continue mainly on the golf
This
cart.
The ordinance is already here. It's in place.
Yes. It's,
You just need to tweak it.
okay. So it's in effect and they're doing what they're doing now. So that's not going to change in terms of enforcing or making sure that underage kids are not out there driving around or being sent home. Okay. Is that good enough? I know you're going to go back and listen to this and well, I get it. Sometimes we're not real clear up here. Okay.
And she was how old? 10? Yeah. Well, I agree with Bryce. It is the parents,
Yeah. Say again? No, you're right. No, to Lauren's point, are we in agreement? We don't want juveniles driving golf
underage.
carts, underage without a driver's license. If we're okay with that. Are we in agreement on that? Does nobody not agree with that?
I agree.
I think do you agree, Lan, or?
Probably just the parents of the ones that's letting their kids drive it's the only ones gonna disagree with it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get agreement on 100% of everything. You're just not. Okay, I think we've discussed it. I think we've given direction, so let's move forward.
Now, there is a UTV and there's a XUV, right? There is a UTV and there is a XUV. Okay, but my John Deere's an XUV, so we need to do something about that too.
Oh, it's totally, that's worse. No, that's totally off. No.
There's a
no.
picture of them, I think.
I just going to make sure it's XUV too.
We can't, we also can't do
Can't be
anything
on
more
the public road at
restrictive.
all. No.
We can't be more restrictive than the state. Isn't that how this works? More restrictive, but not less restrictive?
You got to pay what?
Okay.
There it is. ATV 50 or less.
It's got all that.
I say that as, we have some parameters that we can't exceed because the state law says what, so we can't just make up whatever we want in a sense.
All right, let's move on. Number 12. Discuss, consider, and take action.
Oh, that's right. We didn't vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Did y'all get that? We're going to table it, subject to it being
Adjusted.
adjusted. We need a motion.
That's already got.
We've got a motion. We've got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. 4-0. Okay. 12, discuss, consider, and take action of bids received for demolition of 301 North Cedar. We've got a handout on that. Did we get one bid on that? And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was about what it was the last time, several months ago.
Our last bid packet that we put out was for both structures, and this is just for the one.
Right. This
But he
is-
had two different
So-
prices on it, didn't he? had a price
Yes,
for
we bid
one.
it out individually, I believe.
I thought he did.
I think so. I think we did.
But this is
So
just.
this is very close to what his original bid
Yes,
was.
301 North Cedar, the big house on the corner, roof falling in, that kind of thing. Do y'all have any discussion on that?
I guess that guy that was wanting to buy it never did contact you? Okay.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get out for nothing on that.
I
but,
did too.
But anyway, it's very visible and it's very worn out. And it is, we've condemned it. All the paperwork's been done on that. We can start.
The only thing we have to do is, I think we have to give a 3-day notice
That's
to the
right.
property owner and the
Yes.
neighbors surrounding the area that we're
Yes.
going to demo it.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm kind of ready to go on this, but we'll discuss it as long as y'all want to.
No.
Does anybody would like to make a motion on this?
Mayor, I make a motion, we give the bid to CL Services Lee Loman.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes.
Billy.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Any bids on 1007 Kenning Drive yet? We've been getting some inquiries on it, so maybe, what's that? Fan. Okay, no bids at this time. At this point, let's go to executive session. And it's closed to the public pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Local Government Code under 551.071, consultation with attorneys. We're going to stay here, I think, regarding, we could go upstairs if it's cooler. You want to go up there? Here, where we can step down. Regarding special utility district, do we have anything on that, Dr. Brazier? We're not going to visit with them tonight.